So today we're going to paint the Savage MSR 10 here, and so important things to tape up are your muzzle device. If you ever want to take it off or change it, something like that, it's good to tape that up. You can either paint over the dust cover or paint or tape above the dust cover here. Either put an empty mag in or mag in, or tape up the mag well. I like to tape up the trigger. Obviously tape up the end of your scope or other optic. And then outside of that, you're pretty much good to go. Gonna get this thing taped up and then okay. So now the other side's dry. We're gonna move along here and we're just gonna hit it with another base layer here. You know, something nice and light. You don't want to kill it. Just want to get that base color that you want to shine underneath whatever you're using for, your stencil or whatever you want to call it. And just, stay a little bit away so it's a nice dusting. You can always go back over and add more paint. It's a bit of a pain when you get caked on paint. So we're gonna let this dry and then we'll be back. So for my stencil, I'm using a mesh bag. I think it held beach toys for my kids. And what I do pretty much, so this one's tan. I'm gonna take a tan line here and just kind of go like that. A little bit over here. It's not very scientific, just, do what you want. Spray on the cardboard, test your color, make sure everything looks good, and then just kind of, put some lines down. Doesn't have to be perfect. Again, you're just trying to break up the pattern of the rifle. So it blends in a little bit better in natural environment. So far, that's how that's looking. And look, worst case scenario, if you don't like it, let it dry and paint it again. We're over here on the other side, and basically, repeat the process. Just kind of do it where you want it. It'll look fine. Don't worry. Just take some color and then add it in. Move our stencil here. You may not love it on the first try, you may love it on the first try, but at the end of the day, it's better than a big black rifle. And in terms of if you want to go one way only, or you want to switch it up and do kind of different lines, it really doesn't make a difference. It'll look different, obviously, but in terms of camo and whatnot, it doesn't really matter much. You can also go with like Amazon stencils, stuff like that. I've used them in the past and had fairly decent luck with them. Get what you pay for. They're a little bit difficult to use in some cases, especially if you're using like reusable stencils. They can be a bit of a pain in the ass because, you're dealing with a rigid piece of plastic trying to work with sort of odd shapes. But again, end of the day, it comes down to what you want and your preference. So up in here, I'm going to add a little bit of green and then that'll be good to go. And then we'll let it dry and we will come back and show you. Here it is now that the tape is taken off, and it's all dried up. Obviously it's not going to blend great on rocks because I chose a tan, a green, and a brown, but if we take it and say hold it up here, it's still sticking out, but it stands out a lot less than it would if it were just straight black. So at the end of the day, tape up all the important things to not get paint on. Grab a spray paint, grab some form of stencil to make a pattern. Doesn't have to be perfect. Just, break up the pattern of the rifle and you'll be good to go.